source for animation and design. Level 27 Media and Smorgasbord Production present Wondercon 2012.
I love the show so much,
and we do too.
your character is so interesting because when the show started, I really saw Nina Sharp as this very antagonistic, kind of like pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Yeah, puppet master.
Puppet master, exactly. But then, especially this season, we see her as a very kind of warm, motherly figure as well. How do you describe the character?
Well, I think it's really interesting. When we started off, we didn't know where Belle was. We just knew he'd entrusted the company to her. Walter was just coming out of a loony bin, so she was pretty isolated. She was the one that was holding everything together. Those great minds, the work that they were doing, and the future of the universe, right? So it was a big job. And we always knew that there was some kind of protective relationship with Olivia. And what we've seen over time is one that I think there's been a softening of Nina for a variety of reasons. One, we now have that other storyline where she was like a surrogate mother to Olivia and her sister. But that also now that things are not in control of Massive Dynamic or Walter. Right? We have observers, we have Mr. Jones at work. So I think in many ways she's had to relinquish this kind of authoritarian power structure. But the trick is she's a very tricky woman. So I'm never sure whether she's trustworthy or not, And now when it was perfect that they made Nina's alternate look exactly like her. Because I kept thinking, where do I get my alternate? And then it was on the page. I was like, well, this is kind of disappointing. And then I realized, no, this is actually really strange and good. Because this is now you really don't know who to trust.
It's amazing because on Fringe, you were the first actor who had to actually take on two different roles, Walter and Walternate. Can you tell me some of the challenges of playing not only another part than yourself, but two different versions of him?
It went on and on because we finished. I was just counting up. I think I've now done 11 versions of Walter. Different, yeah. The work's done beforehand. The first version is the critical one that the study's done on for me. Sorry. When I sat down and worked out, as an actor does, what I needed to know to play this version. So it was just variations and tweaks on that, and putting in some things and taking out some things, or putting on 25 years or taking it off, which again is looking at what's the difference between a 60-year-old man and a 40-year-old, and it's physical, it's how they move, it's how the tone of their voice, things you would do from observation. It's a good acting exercise.
I guess the big question is really you're on a show like Fringe where there's alternate universes and you get to play two sides of the same character.
Yeah.
What's been the challenge of doing that for you?
Well, when you play two characters, usually you show up to work and you can act with someone else, and whatever they're giving you, you're like, ooh, that's really interesting. I'm going to play off of that. And when you're acting with yourself, you don't get that at all. You're essentially looking at where you would be, you would then go away, and then I have to look at a spot on the wall and kind of act with that and try to imagine in my head what the other person is doing and try to react to that. And it's a really interesting challenge, and it's really fun to watch everyone on the show deal with it because everyone does it in a different way, and trying to figure out with the sound department how you're going to get your cues, and some people listen to it in their head and some people put a speaker up and listen to it that way, so you're kind of staring at a speaker and pretending that's you. And it's really fun. At first I was scared out of my mind, but I got to watch Anna Torv do it a little bit, and she did it brilliantly. And then I got to watch the show and see how it turned out, and it's a really interesting challenge.
I love your character in this, and you're one of the few, characters who doesn't have an alternate in the other universe, or is
the only one of our main characters. In fact, I know I'm the only one of the main characters who doesn't have an alternate.
That's awesome. Yeah, I kind of see your character as the through line for the viewer, at least this season, because everyone's been following the story so long, and then the kind of universe is reset.
Well, and I think Peter hasn't been that character in the past because he was the one that people knew something about that he didn't know. But yeah, this year, he and the audience are in the same spot that, we all know things about these characters that they've forgotten about themselves. So yeah, I think that's quite right, that he's the lens through which you can watch the show.
Yeah. And you mentioned already that you get to play two different interpretations of the character from two different universes.
And maybe a third.
Maybe a third. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Next date, there's somebody else that shows up.
Oh my God. Is it hard to keep the characters straight, or how do you develop that?
It's the joy of it, actually, because at this point, if we didn't have lots to play, we'd be bored stiff, right? I think Anna's liked Olivia and Bolivia, and I know Walter and Walternate. They've been very happy. So, yeah, I think Jessica and Lance too have enjoyed their alternates. It's nice.
You have such an incredible presence as an actor, just from everything I've seen you in, from Lord of the Rings to Fringe, and especially I'll say even Transformers. You were the voice of Unicron, which is that intimidating because you're following in the footsteps of Orson Welles in that role. But
I love that because Orson Welles is one of my, great voices to start with. But also as an actor, I used to study his approach to acting and to directing because he was a truly unique character. So it was a great honour actually to follow in Orson Welles and to have it recognised as such, you know.
I gotta ask you, I know you auditioned for Batman at one point.
I did.
I'm curious, I think you'd be perfect actually for that. And did you have a different interpretation than Christian Bale? Did you do the Batman like this?
It wasn't. I'm. Thank you. That's nice of you to say, but I think they made the right choice. I think Christian Bale has been awesome in those two Batman movies. So, would it have been different if I did it? Yeah, certainly. But it wasn't really so much. I mean, I never saw his audition tape, but I would imagine that we all had our own take on it. I got to put on the bat suit, so that was cool.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The Val Kilmer bat suit, the nipple bat suit. So I was a little ambiguous about that, but it's the bat suit still.